So we were actually seeing about this example. So db.find, so we have an combination of and or, and this is your and, so you need to make sure that it satisfies with the status A, followed by you have an or, where you have to say that the quantity has to be less than 30 and the item has to start with the P, right? So this we have actually tried just now. So when we try it, we will get the output like whatever it is. Okay, so the status is basically A and the quantity has to be less than 30 and it has to start with the P, right? So when you look at this example, it actually satisfies this. It starts with A, so that condition is met, and the other condition is either it could be the quantity has to be less than 30 or it has to start with A. Yes, here the quantity is less than 30 and here the even though the quantity is 45, it starts with P, right? So it is satisfied, right? So this is what we have actually seen, and now what we are going to see here is about, yes, so now the main thing which you have to understand is that what you meant by an embedded or nested document. So by simply meaning that what is embedded document, it is so this is one example. So see here in this particular, this is a collection, right? In the inventory it's a collection. So in that you could see that one of your element is itself is a document, right? So this is nothing but embedded, embedded or nested documents, if you could say. So when I'm going to use that in my inventory, so all those are basically inserted. So when you look at here, so this is the index and this is the ID, which is actually unique ID, which is actually given by MongoDB. So when I say CLS and I could give this one, so I wanted to show you about this pretty command. So this pretty command, so find is, it's like select star from inventory, right? So in the same way, if you are using the select star from inventory.pretty, it will help to give you a beautiful look and feel of your, I mean, like it is completely organized and it just gives you a beautiful way of how to see your data. So that is nothing but this pretty command. So I just wanted to show you that. So now going back to the embedded commands. So when you look at here, so the first one is nothing but it simply takes those data which is actually satisfies this particular condition. So as simple as that, we are just using it and we are getting the data which is actually having that that details, I mean like h is equal to 14, right? So those details will be given to us. So here, yes, so find h is equal to 14, right? W21 and so those data with those details will be actually given to you. So these are the details. So it has, I mean like I have entered actually two details, because when you see here, you know, see how it is actually, ma'am, everything looks similar, then why are you saying that they are two different ones? Because everything looks similar to me, ma'am. Yes, but when you see this ID, you could see that this ID and this ID is basically different. Okay, so probably you would have entered this data twice. Okay, you would have entered this data twice, but MongoDB doesn't check with the contents, so it just, you know, associate it with a different ID, and so this is a unique. So as far as MongoDB is considered, this is a unique document and this is another unique document, even though the contents are similar. If you don't want this contents to be like more number of times, you can actually delete them. Okay, so all those things, you know, it is your headache, you have to actually take care of all those. So now the next one which you have to do is that, say if there is something called the dot operator. So this is what hopefully you will know what a dot operator is. So you can also check, I mean like say size dot UOM, unit of measurement. You are checking whether with an inch it is already there. So that is nothing but this one. So when you look at here, so sometimes when you sometimes when you paste it, you have to make sure that it is actually pasting properly, right? So you are actually taking those data with the UOM is equal to inch, right? So that is what you could see here. So all the unit of measurements with inch is actually returned or retrieved back to you, right? So this is one example for that. And now let me go here, and yeah, so this is again the same thing only. So here you are actually checking here actually you are checking whether the size dot h, so your height is basically less than 15, right? You are retrieving those documents with the size less than 15. So when you do that, all the size with less than 14, I mean like 15 will be actually given back to you, right? So this is one example. So like that you actually you could try with the different. So there are different ways for querying your databases on the embedded or the nested documents. So the next one which you have to try is about the array. Okay, so always understand the array will start with this particular symbol. Okay, so this is the symbol where you the square bracket. So this is how you will understand that this is an array. Okay, and how can you do that? So first of all, let me just update my data. So I'm just going to update my data into this new data. Okay, so when I have actually updated the data with the tags. So now I have item, I have quantity, then tags, and the dimension in centimeter, right? So this is what I have. And now when you look at the data here, right, this is the data which we have. Now we can actually, here it's very important. So the first one is nothing but your db.find. Okay, you have db.find where you know the tags is equal to red and blank. Okay, so you are actually checking whether it is if you have red and blank in your tags section, then you have to retrieve those documents, right? So that's what the meaning is. So probably you can select them, and I'm going to run it here. So red and blank. So when you look at it, it will retrieve me the documents which contains red and blank in the same order, right? So I'm not getting anything else which is there of in any other order. So say just imagine that you want to just do a pattern matching, that if any of your records have red or blank in any order, you doesn't matter for you. So you want to get those data to be retrieved back to you. Then what you have to do is that you have a certain operator called all operator, which you could use. This is the all operator. You can use that all operator. So when you look at here, it just clearly tells you to find an array that contains both the elements red and blank. But the main thing which you have to keep in mind is that without regard to the order. So you're not worried about the order, like whether it is red and blank, blank or red or something else or like that, or other elements in the array. That means you can also have red, blank, blue, or whatever it is, or blue, red, then green, blank. It could be in any order, doesn't matter for you. Whatever it satisfies, whether it sees red or blank, it will just take it everything, all of them to you. So that is nothing but this all tag. So now when we try this all tag, you could see that it's actually bringing us. So in the red, if you are not using the all, okay, what is that you are getting? You are getting exactly, the pattern is actually exactly matched, and whatever it is, you are getting it. And when you are using this all tag, basically you are getting everything. I mean, like say I have only blank red here, so it's not in the order, so it doesn't matter. Here it is red, blank, that is also we are getting it. And here we have red, blank, plain is there, so it doesn't matter, it is blank, red is there. So whichever order, somebody else is there with you, nothing, it doesn't matter. So all of those contents will be actually given back to you, right? So that is a very, very important operator, that is all. Yes, then if you want, if you are actually say using this as simply red, okay, so whichever at least have red, it will be given back to you. So that is nothing but yeah, I'm just so here, so if you simply give just blank alone, so we don't have so when I tried this, it doesn't work because the syntax was wrong. That's why it's not wrong, but it was not able to get like as an array. Okay, so that's why. So when you look the tag as red, then actually it just gives me all those things which is actually part of the red. Okay, wherever the red is there, it just pulls me out all those documents which is actually red. Okay, so that's what it is. Now moving over to the next section. So that is nothing but the array of embedded documents. Okay, so in array of embedded documents we could see a little bit of things. So that is nothing but so we are just copy pasting this. So it is actually given as item as journal, and then the in stock is actually given as warehouse and quantity, and again there is another thing. So there are two documents, so there is nested documents. See here, this is an array. When you look at this in stock, okay, this is an array. Okay, so in stock you have got an array, but inside the array when you see the elements are basically two different documents. This is first document and this is second document, right? So now we are going to work with an array of embedded documents. Okay, so for that, you know, I'm just copying this, and I'm going to use that in my inventory. I mean, like copy it and right click, you get that. Okay, sorry, because some underscore is there. So I want it to be to the home, and I want to delete that. Yes, so here it is. Okay, so always don't worry by the errors, just understand what the error is and try to always fix it. Okay, so now we are going to query document, I mean like list query an array of documents. So the first one is, I want to get, say, if you have a document A and quantity 5, I want you to take it, right? That's the meaning of it. So when you look at here, you have actually quantity A and 5, right? So that complete document will be actually taken back to you, isn't it? Right? That is how it works. So when you try this, you know, that document which has, but when you retrieve it, you will get that complete in stock array of documents with this one and that together. Okay, so this is how it is. You know how you will actually work with the array of documents. So you have a document where you are actually working with array of documents. Okay, so now the next one is in this another one which you could see is that, say, quantity 5, and so I'm not giving all the elements in my in the nested documents. I'm giving only one element. That means that I want my warehouse to be A. In that warehouse it should contain A, right? So that is what the here we are doing. So you can actually try that. When you try this, it was, so there is nothing with the quantity 5 and warehouse A. Okay, so quantity 5 and warehouse A. So we are looking for the exact order. So we are actually, it's kind of an equality match. This is the main thing which you have to keep in mind. So equality matches on whole or embedded or nested requires an exact match of the specified document, right? So including the field order, it is very, very important. But when you look at in this one, so this is actually available for us, right? This is actually available for us. But when we are looking like quantity 5 and warehouse A, it is not there. We don't have it in the say we have warehouse A quantity 5 here, but we don't have quantity 5 warehouse A, right? So will not match. So this query does not match any documents in the inventory collection in the exact order. So that's why you are not getting any output here. The query is not wrong, so it is not throwing you any error, but you will not be able to retrieve any documents from the database. Now the other one is like, you know, you can also have this I mean like you can use this dot operator. So again here in the in stock you need to get that quantity, right? So how will you do that? Exactly what we have done in the previous examples. You can also use the dot operator here, and so here in stock dot quantity, where the you know, it has to be less than 20. So whichever is less than 20, I mean like it will be actually given to you, okay, because you have 60 here, but you know you have at least one document which matches less than 20. So here it is less than 20, 15, here it is less than 25, here it is less than 15, I mean like 20, 15, So like that it actually matches and it gives you the results. So always try to go back to your results and see whether and understand how it actually works. Okay, that is also very, very important. Otherwise you will not be able to match the results in the proper way. And now another thing is that you can use the indexing here. Okay, this is also something very important which you might be using it in course of time. So here it selects all the documents in stock array, has its first element a document that contains the quantity whose value is less than or equal to 0. So when you look at here, actually there is a simple modification that we have done in stock dot 0. So the document which has got the first element as, so here when you look at this particular thing, even though it matched on the second document, it is actually, because when you look at the first document it is actually 40, so it is not actually less than 15, right? So but when we look at the second document, it is actually less than 15, it is matching, right? So here what they are doing is that, say I want my first element to be less than 20, and only if the first element matches, retrieve those. Okay, so like that you can actually specify here. So when you are actually looking here, so I'm just taking this document once again and I'm just copying it here. Sorry, sometimes this icons are really issue. Okay, wait a second. So all these things are certain issues, sometimes the shell will get timed out, so you need to also check that. So then you will have to restart the server and run it once again to get it connected. Okay, so here when you look at this one, say it actually matches only those which actually matches the first one, right? So less than 20, the first element in your document itself has to be less than 15, then only it's actually matching. So that is why you use this .0.quantity. Okay, so all these operations you should actually be familiar with, just to have an idea. So in the same way as we have seen before, we can also use this element match. So as you know that element match operator to specify multiple criteria. So basically we use that to select multiple criteria at a time. So in the embedded documents also you can actually use that. And here the main thing which you have to keep in mind is at least one embedded document satisfies all the special criteria. Okay, so that's how we use this. So when you look at here, let me see, yes, so this is in stock, so element match, so at least this criteria or that criteria, anything or the other has to match. So here we are not worried about the order. So if you have this element match, you don't have to worry about it. So it will just take those things which will actually match any of the conditions and it will give it to you. Okay, so either the quantity or the warehouse equal to A, right? And so that's again the element match here. So you can also have this like this is kind of giving a range for it. Like I want the quantity to be within the range which is greater than 10 and less than 20. So I want those quantity to be matched exactly, so I could use this element match operator. So this is again within a range. Okay, so it will just pick up those which is actually greater than 10 and less than 20. So such kind of greater than 10 and less than 20, yes, so such kind of things will be actually taken and it will be giving back to you which matches in any order. So it doesn't matter, but it just looks for those match. Alright, and then again this is again the range, so you can also use it without the element match operator. So you will get those things which is actually within that particular range and you will get that. And you can also have multiple conditions by using the operator itself. So that is also possible. So those things so you will get those documents where the quantity is 5 exactly and your warehouse has to be A exactly. So if in case it matches in any of your documents, those documents will be actually retrieved and back in you. So here you could see that it is A and 5 in this, but in the case this is A and this is 5. Like it's in different documents, but doesn't matter. It just pulls you out all those details and give it back to you. So these are certain things which you have to know and how to use, and what would be the kind of the results that you will get. Yes, so that's over about this element match. So this element match is a beautiful operator which you have to keep in mind, and it's very, very important. Okay, and now the next one which you have to learn is about learn is about the project. Okay, So the projection operators. So when you look at the projection operator, so before going to the projection operator, I just wanted to try this as well. Say this is this is as simple as that. Again, the dot 1. So this is actually based on the index. Okay, so it is based on the index. So you are specifically looking for the index with the value, right? So this is something which you have to know. So when you do this, you will be getting those DM center with which is actually greater than I mean like 25. So this is something which is actually greater than 25, and it is in the 0 1. So this second place. Okay, so that is what you have to understand. So if you want to specifically work on those things with which works based on the based on that, you could actually do that based on the index. And here what it says is that in the tags, okay, so though it will actually bring those tags. So you here you could see that in the tags you have 2 elements, right? So here the size operator basically looks for 3 elements in the tags. So it will actually retrieve you those documents which has got 3 elements in the tag. So it is actually the number of the size, it's a size. Okay, so when you look at here, it has actually taken those tags with 3 elements in the array. That is what is actually picked. So the size is one operator which will help you to pick up based on the number of the elements in your document. Okay, so that is also important. Okay, so this is the size operator. And now there is another operator called item equal to null. That means that, say, sometimes you will be working with something which which will not be the item is null, or it is unknown, or somebody have made some mistakes or something like that. So in such cases, if you want to check whether is there anything which actually made you, I mean like the item is null or something like that, then you could actually check and find out whether it is there. Okay, so it has not run properly. 1 second. Yeah, so this is the one, right? So yes, so nothing is there with the item null. So sometimes when you get the answers and if you feel like it is not proper, so just go and check, because when we use this up operator, sometimes it will not copy, or it will not get the right result. So here when you see that I have all the items, none of my items are null. Okay, so I don't have anything to display here. So in fact this null is basically for unknown values, or for where the places where we have null. Okay, so such kind of details will be displayed back to you. Yes, so that's all about that. Now the next one is actually the project. Okay, so the projection in projection fields, or it is something which will help you to project your fields in the way you want, even though you are actually taking all the information, or you can retrieve a lot of information based on your specific queries, but I don't want everything to be displayed back to my client. So in such cases, basically I could use this project. Okay, so one simple example of project is this one. Say when you look at here, so db.inventory, inventory is the collection.find, status is equal to a. Say, as you all know that it is a like select star from inventory where status is equal to a, right? So whatever with the status a, all those information in that, all those attributes which are there in that will be actually displayed back to you, right? But say I don't want all this information to be displayed, so I want some specific information to be displayed. Say, I mean like select ID, item, status. I just want, even though you have so many other details, I don't want star, I want some specific thing to be displayed from those query results. Alright, so for that we basically use this project field. So how you will use is that, say this is your condition. Okay, so please pull out all the documents with the status A. In that I want you to display item and status. That is the meaning of this one. Okay, so we will try that. So first, in order to try that, first we will actually populate our database. So when I populate the database, say my database is basically populated. Okay, so now we will try our select star. Okay, so this is nothing but you are actually taking all the documents with the status equal to a. So how it is displayed, we will see how it is displayed. So when you look at this, all those information like ID, item, status, size, in stock, all those details from all the documents where the status is a is basically displayed, right? So here you have a. So all those A's are basically displayed, right? So now our point is, now I don't want all these details to be displayed. Instead, I want only the ID. By default it will be displayed, an item and the size to be displayed. So in such cases, what will I do? So in such cases, I have to use this particular way. So in this, I am actually displaying ID item status from inventory where the status is equal to A. Okay, so do I need to specify about the ID here, ma'am? You don't have to, because MongoDB by default gives you those details, right? So here you are giving like, I want it to be displayed only as status. And so when you look at this one, you could understand that in all it has actually taken all those documents with status A, but for that ID and the status alone is displayed, an object ID by show, right? So in the previous example, you had this item status, size, in stock. So the size and in stock is not, because we have asked them to display only item and status, right? So this is something which you have to identify. So project is projection in MongoDB basically helps you to display what you want your client to see from your things. Now if you want to exclude something, so this one basically means that you have to include. So say if I'm using the status 0 and in stock 0, right? So let's see what is that all about. So when you do that, you could see that see here you are actually given, you have actually given the status as 0, in stock as 0. Okay, so basically you are not displaying the status and the in stock. Instead you have this ID, item, quantity and the size, but the status and the in stock is not there. So now you would have understood that what you meant by this 1 here and what do you meant by this 0 here, right? So the 0 means you are excluding it and 1 means you are actually including it. Okay, so this is something which you have to clearly understand, because all these things would be useful for you when you do your experiments. Okay, so now the next one is again, so you can also have this combinations of and or and all these combinations here. So here you are actually, so can you tell me what are you doing? Basically you are actually picking up all those elements with A, but I want you to display the item, the status, and also just from the size I just want you to display this UOM. So that is what you have to display. So if you want only very specific fields in your things to be displayed, that is also possible. So in the size, if you could see, I have item, I have status, and in the size I am not specifying the height or the width, I am just specifying about the unit of measurement, right? So such way you can actually display things. Now the other one which you have to do is that, say in the size document, in the size itself you have height, you have weight, and you have UOM, right? But specifically I don't want you to mention about the inch or the centimeter, whatever it is. So you can also specifically exclude it. So you can actually, when you do like this, when you look at your answers which you have got, you have item, you have status, you have all this information, but in size specifically I don't have the UOM actually mentioned here, right? So I have only height and the weight actually mentioned. So height is mentioned, weight is mentioned, and the UOM is not mentioned. So this is one thing which you have to identify and relate. So this dot operator basically gives you that option of getting the things directly from within your documents, or it could be from your nested documents, right? So this is something which you have to you should know, because maybe for your exams or something like that we might ask you like, just give me something which is actually required for me, and I don't want anything which is not required. So that is also possible, right? And also understand there is an operator called slice operator. So the slice is actually an operator. It's basically called as a projection operator. So it will simply return the last element. Say here, if I'm using this, because we have seen the slice operator in Python also, so it works something like that. So it's kind of which is used for your reverse indexing as well. So in your slice operator, if you have a minus value, it just makes sure that it is actually giving you reverse operator, right? So here in stock slash size means 1 means it just gives you the last element of your stock. So here when you try this, you are actually getting all those elements, but here you know it is actually giving you the last, I mean like the last document. So you can have multiple documents in that, but here I am just mentioning only the last document. Okay, so that is the meaning of it, because when you look at your data, so when you look at your data in stock, you can have multiple documents here, right? But I will get only the last document. So that is the meaning of this -1. Okay, so when you look at your answers, you will have only this last document. I mean like I don't have the other document, which is because in all the others you have only one document, so that will be actually given to you. But in this last one alone, you have actually two documents. This is your first document, this is your second document. So when slice is equal to -1, I will get only this last document, not this one. Okay, that is nothing but your slice operator. So I think you know that's all about it, about your you know the projection. So these are the various things which you actually can use it in the projection. Okay.